Hey everyone, this is Kenny or Kent or whatever you want to call me, and you're listening to The Other Show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the day after election special. We do this year for the first time, and we just want to say we're sorry to everyone that thinks the world's going to end quickly or more slowly. I don't know. It's just bad. Anyways, Josh, what else we got?
A lot more entertaining things than talking about politics and elections. That's
Please.
For sure.
I hope everyone's off social media for the previous 2 weeks and maybe for the next 3 while things get figured out and people complain and argue. It's just best to avoid all social media. Like just for your own anxiety, right?
Gosh.
Just make yourself feel better.
Yeah, just stay out of the comment forums. That's probably the best advice we can probably give anybody right now.
And stay off Facebook altogether.
Oh, yeah. Okay, this is not one of those. I feel like we're setting up like a dad talk, right?
I know, right? Yeah, but we're really actually trying to avoid any conversation about politics because that's the worst.
And that's how we started the show, too. So,
Yeah. Sorry. Sorry, everybody. Let's talk about something fun, which is also in the past. Halloween.
Yeah, Halloween. I missed last week because not just of the Halloween season, but I was on a little bit of a vacation.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to join you guys, and Spencer is not with us. He'll be back.
Oh, okay. Geez. I mean, he's pretty sick, but take it easy, man.
Yeah. No, I guess he has the flu. So
yeah.
Let the imagination rule that one.
Yeah. Get better soon.
Yes.
He tried to describe what was happening to his body and thankfully didn't go too far into it.
Yeah,
so,
but still lost my appetite. So
yeah, just enough. But I'm bummed. I want to hear about his Halloween because I know he and the family did some unicorn costumes.
Yes.
Hopefully we hear about that pretty soon. Maybe on the other show next week.
Yeah, I think we could talk about it on the regular show. I mean,
yeah.
Halloween, it's a holiday that's kind of hard for people to kind of stop talking about because, it's a fun holiday.
It's fun. But for me, I need to do almost a total cleanse. Like I look forward to it, like, I don't know, early September. I'm like, yep, I'm watching scary movies. I'm eating candy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm loving the fall weather. But as soon as November 1st starts, I go, dang it, I didn't watch 2 scary movies I wanted. I'll have to wait till maybe a couple months from now when I'm not as burned out because my soul is kind of dark right around Halloween. And it's not just because
around Halloween.
Yeah. Dark period. But also on Halloween. And I'm like, I've seen too many scary movies, right? I've eaten too many sweets or whatever. So I need to give myself a little break. So November actually becomes my high fantasy month where I'm immediately going to watch Lord of the Rings just as a palate cleanser.
Oh, okay. That kind of fantasy.
Yeah.
Hey, I just let my mind go somewhere that it
well, let's be honest. I did do pizza delivery for a while. Mm-hmm. And so, maybe it's that kind of high fantasy.
Pizza Deliveryman high fantasy.
Did I ever tell you about that? Can I tell a little personal story?
I think I've heard it, but it needs to be told again.
And if it's been said on the show, I apologize. But so I did Domino's delivery. We've talked about Domino's on the other show as well. And I did Domino's delivery for a couple of years. I don't know, 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a really well-paying job because I was really good at it. And I decided that because I would do deliveries up until 12:30 a.m., right? I usually on weekends. And I was always like, hey, what if there's by the way, I was unhappily married, but I was married.
Thanks for the clarification there.
And I was like, what if there's someone that's incredibly attractive? It's hey, you're a pizza delivery guy. I don't know. I can't really pay for this pizza. What can we do? And that was always running through my head, that would be really funny. But of course I'd say no, right? Because of course I would. Even though I had that little fantasy in my mind, I had men all of the time at Motel 6 hit on me.
Wow.
And yeah. And they guys wearing no joke, holding a little hand towel right where they needed to. And they're like, hey, come on in. And I'm like, oh no, I'm good. Let me just give you your 2 pizzas and we're good. They're like, no, well, I got to pay you. I'm like, yeah, just sign this receipt right here at the door, please. And that happened. I mean, there are a couple more forward suggestions and some people said some pretty gross stuff. There were once 2 women at an antique store that were saying they wanted me to do things to their pizza. It was weird. I don't like it. But I always said that the day...
At an antique store?
No, it was the weirdest thing. By the way, they were younger. It's not like they were antiques.
Okay, I was going to say, because if they're in an antique store ordering a pizza, dude, they're at least a minimum of like 65, 70 years old.
No, they were probably about 45 to 50. So that I was like, and they're like, hey, when do you get off work? And, and I'm like, oh, all night. But a lot of people asked me to come back and party after my shift was done. But it was mostly men. It was only one time was there someone, and she was the third most attractive woman I've ever seen in my life. Okay?
Wow.
And it was
Who
like
were the
11.
First two? Or is that putting you on a spot right now?
It's putting me on the spot, and I don't want to answer because I got to say the right things. But one person in Australia who I got a picture with is a missionary. Anyways, but I delivered. I shouldn't be sharing this story, but oh well. I delivered this. It's not bad.
We're here.
We're here. Welcome to the other show, everyone.
I might be changing I might be changing.
Oh.
The background music to something a little bit more sultry at this point.
Well, let me change my voice from frantic to a little soulful.
Yes.
So it was 11:30, and I was delivering a pizza. It was probably my last run of the night. And this sounds really naughty. I'm so sorry. But I go up, and I'm like, oh, it's at this complex up, actually kind of by the Bountiful Temple up there. And I'm like, I know a lot of senior citizens live up here. I'm like, it's kind of late for them to be ordering pizza, but oh well. I'm probably going to get like $1 tip. It's fine, whatever. So I go up, and I'm wearing like my cargo shorts, my blue shirt, my Domino's hat, and I have my heat wave bag because I work at Domino's. And I always bring extra Parmesan and pepper packs because I want a $5 tip. And I get up to this door, and like I said, everyone's asleep. It's 11:30. Knock, 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 knock. And all of a sudden, this girl opens the door. She's probably 27, and she was the third. Like I said, brunette, short brunette hair. She was wearing a sheer black teddy, essentially see-through. I panicked at this time, Josh. I did not know what to do. And so, yeah. No, it's a real story, by the way. This is not one of those embellished stories.
It could have been your first throuple. I'm just saying.
No, and I think, is it throuple or thruple? Throuple.
I don't know.
Anyways, someone
clarify. I don't want to Google that either.
Yeah, please don't get those kind of cookies. So, of course, I always have a spiel when I go to a door, depending on who answers the door. If it's like the man at the house, I'm like, hey, I got your pizza here. You got like you got pepperoni and you got Hawaiian, right? And they're like, yeah, because they want you to be real direct. Like, cool, it's $21.60. If it's an old lady, I'm like, hi, how are you? Okay, you got the one pizza and you got the Parmesan bites, right? I brought you a few extra goodies if that's okay. Oh, thank you so much. And if it was someone attractive, I'd be like, hi, how are you doing?
That's not awkward enough for you, Kenny.
No, like I knew what I was doing because my goal was always a $5 tip. And so I was like, oh, it's someone very, very attractive. And if I look down, if I scan the body, I'm going to see things that like I shouldn't be seeing because I was a married man. And I was like, so I put the heat wave bag right in front of like her body so I couldn't look down. So right in front of me. And I have this thing where I never want to be disrespectful to anyone. And so if I feel like, if your eyes may like, this sounds so like dumb and like a guy, but instead of like ever like staring at someone's cleavage, for example, I won't. I will always look at the bridge of their nose. And so I always say to myself, bridge of the nose, bridge of the nose. And I always like right now to you, I'm looking at the bridge of your nose so that my eyes will not go anywhere else.
You don't want to look at my cleavage? Is that what you're saying?
Right. Well, I've been doing it this whole show, but I'm right at this moment. I'm not ogling you. So I looked at her in the face. Oh, go on.
No, I was just going to say,
yeah.
I had a situation like this with TSA on my trip to California this past week.
Okay. I'll hurry up so we can get to that.
Yeah.
Anyways, why am I even telling a pizza delivery story and making it like this?
I don't know. I'm riveted.
So, I mean, I'm sorry to say it's anticlimactic because I just wanted to be a good person. And so, like I said, I looked at Bridget in the house and I said, hey, you just got 2 pizzas, right? I couldn't even get my like nice, smooth voice out. I couldn't smolder or anything. You just got 2 pizzas, right? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, cool. There's some Parmesan pepper packets I just threw in there too. And she's like, cool. She signed the receipt and gave me like a $3 tip. And I, here you go. Have a good night. And I turned around and ran to my car. Right, like Joseph in Egypt. I ran to my car.
I was gonna say that sounds very familiar.
and I was like, I went back to the store and I was like, oh, well, you know, I did the right thing because obviously I wouldn't want to mess around that way. But like when I got divorced, I was like,
did you go back?
Maybe I become a pizza delivery guy again. I don't know, because I seriously, without spending too much time on it, who orders a pizza knowing it will be there in 20 minutes and is wearing a teddy? Do you forget that a pizza's on its way? This isn't DoorDash. It's like you leave pizza at the door. You knock on the door and hand deliver it. So she knew I was coming or someone was coming. But
what if it was a girl delivery driver?
That's rare. It's rare, but it could happen, and it could have been, and maybe there would have been a throuple. But with me, there sure wasn't.
Yeah.
Anyways, just part of my pizza delivery adventures. Let's go back to Halloween real quick. Why in the world did I tell that story?
I don't know, but it had to be told. I feel like it had to be told. And now I'm going to be changing the background music back to our regular background music.
Okay. So Josh, tell us about your costume.
You know, I'm, like I've said before, I'm not a huge Halloween fan. I do, though, like to kind of dress up, especially when there's really no effort needed on my part.
Right.
And last year, as many of you may recall, I ran a race as Cocaine Bear.
Mm-hmm. A very relevant costume because the movie had come out 7 months earlier, but it was probably the dumbest costume you've ever done. Like simple.
Oh,
yeah. You won the contest.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. But you threw flour all over.
It was,
which doesn't seem very conducive to then sweating in a bulky costume.
That whole 13 miles, I was baking biscuits, right, in that bear costume. Like the saltiest biscuits that you've probably ever tasted.
Yep. Oh, okay. Keep going. Anyways. Yeah.
And anyway, I won the contest, and it was a great, funny costume.
Yeah, it was.
For something that I had put together and ordered within 3 days, right? So this last year, I did the race again, and I was trying to think of something else that I could do.
Mm-hmm.
And I just couldn't. I'm like, you know, I really should try to defend my title. I got to come up with something good. And I was recording the party in the back. Blue wasn't on that episode, so I was with KP and with Rick, and the idea came to do Rehab Bear. Right? Like the worst Care Bear imaginable, right?
No, look, he's trying. You know, we got to support him.
So the idea was I would get one of my Addict to Athlete shirts and, you know, and run in that in the bear costume.
Right.
Well, then I started dinking around on Amazon and I found a shirt that said "Hugs, Not Drugs." I'm like, okay, that needs to be the shirt, right?
Yeah.
So I got that, and I go to the race, and I actually decided to MC the costume contest.
Okay, so you like upgraded, right? You got a promotion.
Yeah, I got a promotion. You know, I've been kind of volunteering for Runtastic events the past couple of months, and so, you know, I've MC'd some of the starts of the races, and so I decided to MC it because I'm like, you know, it'd be fun to win it again, but like maybe this costume's kind of dumb, you know, like this is kind of dumb. Rehab Bear, whatever. And anyway, I'm MCing it as Rehab Bear and everything, and I kid you not, I think I accidentally won the costume contest.
What do you mean accidentally? How does that happen?
Because the reaction that I got as Rehab Bear was much greater than the reaction that the person who officially won got.
Okay.
Right.
Well, wait, did people remember the Cocaine Bear costume?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Okay,
people
you made a
remember
splash.
And I exactly, and when I was emceeing, I'm like, I did the whole shtick about going to rehab and Cocaine Bear and everything, and people loved it. People loved it, right? So anyway, the race director was just kind of saying like, yeah, he's like, I think you won that.
Like, I'll take my gift card now.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I don't want to take away, because you win a free entry for next year's race.
Okay, gotcha.
And I'm like, I don't want to take that away from him. He's like, oh no, don't worry about it. And like, I'll get you a free entry for it next year too. So I'm like, okay.
Okay. That's awesome.
Don't have to twist my arm. And honestly, it wasn't bad because I wasn't running in flour.
No.
So
I hate you. I hate you for your simple costume, because I was Ken from Street Fighter, which is a very simple costume. You probably saw the Instagram post, right?
I loved it.
Thank you. I mean, obviously, I do some Photoshop magic to if with the background it's cooler, because the real pictures were me resting my leg on a couch so I could do a spin kick. No joke, Josh. The night before Halloween, I stayed up till 2 a.m. taking pictures.
Did your mom take the pictures?
No, because she was like a rational person in bed, right? But like, I set up my camera and did the 10-second timer, and then ran back and did the pose, and I took 120 pictures. And there are some that
somebody marry Kent, please.
And so I also then stayed up to Photoshop the pictures after, but my costume, even though it's a red karate gi, a black belt, and some exercise gloves and a wig, right? Super simple. When I ordered it, I got the gi, and KP will probably yell at me and tell me there's better places to do this. But I ordered it, and it was like, it seemed reputable, but it's still like coming from China. And I was like, oh, well, I know that whenever I've ordered a costume from China, it's quite small, right? And so I got an XL red karate gi, and I'm like, that will probably fit perfectly. I bet it will be like medium to large, and it'll be kind of just tight enough, even though Ken kind of has a big costume. Anyways, it came in the mail, and it was an XL. Like, it was legit, like 3 times bigger than my size. It was a sumo wrestler. We'll put the picture in the tease, okay? It's that bad.
Awesome.
And it's so horrendous. And so literally I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. I have too much costume, and I don't know what to do. So my mom tailored it. She literally, I was like, I need to cut 6 inches off the legs of each pants.
Again, somebody please marry Kent.
No, like, that's why moms are so great. I'm like, hey mom, I know I'm in my 40s, right? But like,
It's true.
I'm gonna bring this over, and can you do that? And thank you very much. So yeah,
your mom's a sweetheart anyway.
Yeah, a
She
sweetheart.
totally do it.
Yeah, but it's so funny. I had her do adjustments on my costumes when I was 10, 20s, and now 40s. So it's fine. But yeah, by the way, and that costume cost a lot more money than yours did, because I tried to get a decent gi, and so it cost a bit of money.
Okay, how much? I mean, do you want to say?
Yeah, no, it was probably $40.
Okay,
for the gi.
mine was 35.
Yeah, but I also got a wig, which was like 15, and then exercise gloves, which were 15. It's just stupid.
But that's not. I mean, that's not horrible.
I've had worse. I've definitely had more expensive.
But anyway, I wasn't done though after this race with Rehab Bear, right? Because there are other parties out there that, I had a work party, I had a church party. So I just reused my costume, the bear costume. Yeah. So when I took it to the church's, the ward's trunk or treat, not only did we have, Dave Grohl Jesus there at the back of our car, but I went as Testimony Bear. Again, the world's worst Care Bear.
Yeah.
But I just put on a white shirt and tie, and I carried around my scriptures with me.
It's so versatile.
Bearing my testimony, right?
Bearing
my testimony. I mean, it was dumb. It was completely stupid.
Yeah.
But then the next day on Halloween at work, I work at Salt Lake Community College.
Yeah.
So I wore the costume because we are the Bruins, and I just threw on a slick hoodie and called it good.
Yeah, I hate how well this costume has done you for the past 2 years.
I know, but
like,
then
I'm quite jealous.
I was joking because I'm like, look, this is what happens when you turn your life around from drugs and alcohol, cocaine. Like, you know, you go to
You find
rehab,
religion.
you
Yeah.
find religion, you go to college, right? You're on the right track. Like, people out there who are listening to right now, you think that your life is crap? Cocaine Bear. Cocaine Bear is here to prove that wrong.
I think you
can
need to
do
write the
whatever
new
you want.
kid story. This is a children's book.
You know, it actually is.
Yeah. So, I mean, cocaine would need to be involved at some point.
Right.
But,
I mean, it could be pixie sticks. Like, you know, just
pixie
change-
sticks or sugar. You know, that he's sniffing lines of sugar, whatever.
Yeah.
We spent too much time on pizza and Halloween. Josh, you went on a big trip, which is why you weren't
Yes.
here last week.
Yes.
Start us with TSA, apparently. And then, tell everyone about SeaWorld and Disneyland.
Sometimes, like, I will wear my sports bra. Like, I mean, that's, I mean, it's well documented that I run with a sports bra on.
Right.
It's been the best thing that's ever happened to me to keep me from getting bloody nipples while I run.
Oh, right.
And it actually kind of helps with my back and my back posture. So sometimes if I'm sitting somewhere for a very long time, I'll put my sports bra on just to kind of help with the posture, right?
Yeah.
Because I have this tendency to hunch.
Yeah, me
so
too.
It just kind of keeps me honest with, you know, the back and everything. And so since I was flying, I'm like, you know, I probably should wear it, you know, help, 'cause especially, you know, Southwest, you know, the seating there is just horrible.
It's
anyway.
not good. Yeah.
So I decided to wear it, and I went through TSA. And of course, you know, every time I go through TSA, I get flagged for everything, right?
You do?
Oh my gosh. I'm like, what?
Do people do you, I mean, do you look shady?
Well, it's either like my my G's are all bunched up. And so like if they send me through the little, you know, rotating, I don't know what you call it.
The thing where you put your hands up and you do the little
Yeah, you do the little rave pose. This is not a
I'm
party.
going to do that next time. Yeah.
Or my luggage. There's always something wrong with my luggage because especially.
Do you have like
you
a CPAP?
No, that's the thing. It's like it's either usually something with electronics, right? Or it's if I'm bringing like a tripod or whatever.
Yeah.
Because most of the stuff that I bring with me is like I usually bring a power bar with me, right?
Yeah.
Because I have so many things that I'm plugging in at the hotel. It's just easier that way.
Mm-hmm.
So it usually always goes through. And anyway, this time when they sent me through the rave machine, they noticed the bunching, and you know they're frisking me and everything. It wasn't as bad as the frisk job that I got about 3 years ago.
Okay.
That was awkward.
Yeah.
Because that one they patted me down there.
Yeah, no, I've got that when I forgot, or my license got stolen. I had to do that once, and they did like the finger liner, like the undies liner, and you're like, well, this is a little odd, but whatever.
I felt so. No, the thing is I felt so bad for that guy.
Yeah, it's like an older man usually.
No, mine was a very out of breath, heavy man who was like, he's like, okay, okay, stand right here. Like he was nervous, right? I'm like, this is not your honeymoon night. And obviously didn't say that, or I'm not getting on the plane. But
right,
he calls over somebody, I guess, to witness to make sure, you know, like he doesn't get on a list after, you know, our encounter. And it was just this awkward, like heavy breathing. He's like, okay. I'm like,
I mean, this just doesn't sound good.
And you know, and this was even before I met Marianne, so I'm like, I didn't even know what was going on. But anyway, yeah, I don't know why I'm telling you.
Yeah,
that.
so you're getting screened.
But I'm getting screened, and so he's like, "What's this?" And like he's kind of like touching the sports bra, and I'm like,
did he pull it back and he like
he's like.
Like
no. But no, I'm like, it's a back brace, and he's like, a back brace, and he kept feeling it like he's calling my bluff, right? And I'm like, oh no. And then so finally I caved. I'm like, yeah, it's a sports bra.
You're like, fine, it's a sports bra. I wear it for the support. And what did he do after that? What was the reaction?
He's like, okay, you can go. I mean, obviously I'm sure that you've screened plenty of women who wear sports bras or whatever. I'm like, you just wanted to call my bluff, didn't you?
Yeah, he's like, back brace, huh?
Anyway, it was a nice way to start the.
Yeah. So, okay. So did you go to Disneyland or SeaWorld first?
So SeaWorld first. So we flew into San Diego, and we only did half a day at SeaWorld.
Is it worth a half a day, a full day? I haven't gone in about, I don't know, 2006, I think, 2007.
And that was the last time I had been was about 20-ish years ago.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm assuming, I think they had rides back then in 2006.
They did. They have like an Atlantis ride.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a little tower ride, similar to the Cannibal.
I mean, you understand this because, being an 80s, 90s kid, I don't know how often you went to SeaWorld as a kid.
We used to go a ton. My parents really liked it. You and I had the same childhood.
Oh, we did.
Yeah.
And so I loved it. I grew up like
Miami Vice show.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah, the night show, and they had the the sea lion and walrus show, the spooky kooky forest or whatever. I can't remember what it was called.
Never been to that.
Well, it was early 90s, I think.
Yeah.
But anyway, I loved it. I love, SeaWorld. And when I was a kid, I mean, being the kid I was, like, I just was obsessed. I was obsessed with whales as a kid. It was my thing. I mean, I was constantly drawing killer whales when I was a kid, right? Like, that was what I was known for in school.
So not dinosaurs, killer whales.
Oh, no. It was it was killer whales. Like, I would draw these elaborate pictures of like SeaWorld, right?
Yeah.
Of whale tanks and like I remember drawing a whole SeaWorld park for Utah, right? So just that gives you kind of a picture.
Yeah. I love it.
And so my little nephew, Ivor, Ben's son, is huge into whales. And that's kind of become his thing. And that they live down in California. And so when we go down there, we've always talked about going to SeaWorld. So we just decided, okay, well, let's go. And then we can do Disneyland because our passes are expiring here in the next, couple weeks. So let's do one kind of hurrah. We'll go down. We'll meet up with you guys and do SeaWorld. Because I'm like, I would love to go through and do SeaWorld in the eyes of a kid again.
Totally.
And it was fun. Like being there with my nephews and my niece was fun. But it was so weird because it just didn't feel like SeaWorld that I remembered.
What has it been like sanitized to take better care of the animals?
Yeah.
I just remember there being magic to it. And maybe it's when you're a kid, but you see quote unquote Shamu or like the giant parrots, flying through the audience and all that kind of stuff. Obviously the dolphins and everything. It just seemed like there was always music and entertainment everywhere you went.
And that was definitely there.
Okay.
But it felt, I don't know, it felt different in the sense of, and maybe, I think a lot of it was maybe because of the rides. Just that element I never had when I was at SeaWorld as a kid.
Okay.
Right? And I mean, we didn't even go on any of the rides anyway.
Yeah.
But it was kind of trashy, to be honest with you.
I imagine.
And granted, it was one of the nights they do a Halloween thing, like a night party or whatever. And so that kind of crowd was there as well. But it was even weird, the Halloween party vibe. It was like the gross zombies and like the really gory, scary stuff. And I'm sitting here, I'm like thinking, my gosh, when I was a kid, like everything about SeaWorld was, and maybe it was just because of me, but it felt like it was just geared toward those, the kids, like the 8 to, 12, 15-year-old kids. And so it just seems so mismatched and everything. but I like the garbages were overflowing everywhere, which makes you appreciate Disneyland even more, because I'm like,
Yeah.
Walt would be rolling over in his grave if he saw the garbages that way.
How much do they charge for a day entrance?
They're always, it feels like it's always on sale, but I think we got ours for like $64 each.
Honestly, not a bad deal.
No.
I'm not saying it's like a good deal for the whole day, but like maybe that's why they're just cutting corners everywhere else.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and we bought 2 tickets, for ourselves, and my sister-in-law actually, I think she got a free pass somehow because they did a season pass. So they gave us one of theirs, and the awesome thing was SeaWorld refunded us one of our tickets, and you wouldn't get that at Disneyland.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't. Okay.
So, there's some pros and cons to it, but it was honestly, it was so much fun.
Yeah.
Just to be there with especially my nephews. They're 6 and 3 years old. I brought my little baby Shamu that I got when I was a kid.
Uh-huh.
And I ended up buying both of them a baby Shamu as well.
Cute.
And so it was fun to be able to do that. And then the next day in the hotel room, we played around and made our own Shamu show, just like I did when I was a kid. And so that was a lot of fun.
If I had a baby Shamu and I was doing a Shamu show, my Shamu would just go to the corner of the water and just be sad and just look at the wall. Just be, end this.
Blackfish.
Wait, so was this like a whole family trip? Like with Disneyland, did you also go with nieces and nephews?
Yeah, so it was mainly Marianne and myself with my brother Ben's family.
Cool.
So because they live down there, and I don't think we're not renewing our Disneyland pass, our Magic Key, and I don't think they are either. I don't.
Is it
know.
a price thing, or is it just
yes and yes? I hate saying this because it feels sacrilegious, but I'm Disneyed out.
Yeah, you mentioned this like 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And like you obviously haven't been all that enthused to even go back to visit.
No, and even Marianne, this last trip, we knew this was going to be our last hurrah for probably a couple of years at least, and we just weren't looking forward to it that much. We're like, okay, we're going with nieces and nephews, and this is our last hurrah for a couple of years. Like we made the ground rule of no complaining, right?
Okay.
No complaining of the prices, no complaining of the lines, except I always complain about the line at Peter Pan. But
oh my gosh.
No, that was the last ride we did at midnight when they closed.
Wait, did still have a line at midnight?
Yes, out of the whole queue. That's how long it was.
Because usually after 10, after the parade and all the kids go home, you're pretty good.
Oh yeah. But like we were trying to hit some of those rides that had no lines, but Peter Pan had a line at midnight that was still 30 minutes long at least. But I went because that was what Marianne wanted to ride, and I'm like, I don't know what you see in this ride, but I will do this because I love you. Yeah. But anyway,
which by the way, Josh, don't be Disneyed out quite yet, because early next year, I think we're finally going to do part 2 of Disney ride tearing on Bacon Cell. So just be ready for that.
I will always be ready for Bacon Sale, man.
Yeah.
Episode 306 for me.
Yeah, right.
Right. Yeah, after Spencer doesn't work out, right?
Yeah. So was there anything different about this trip other than traveling with the littles? Like was it special for any reason? Did you guys try to just kind of eat different food this time?
Yeah, well, we kind of made a bucket list of foods that we wanted to have in the park, and we had certain rides that we wanted to hit. And I won't lie, as far as the lines go, it wasn't bad, mainly because my nephew has a DOS pass, so it's kind of like a lightning lane pass essentially, and that was actually really nice to have. But yeah, it was just enjoying it, and it kind of got emotional. Like we We did video a good chunk of it because I don't know. We may put it up on the other show.
Okay.
Not sure yet. This is a conversation probably for a paywall, but like I don't know. I play with that idea of doing YouTube videos, but it's so time consuming.
Oh, of course. And you're not really in the moment, right? You're like,
No.
I'm doing this to use it later to really appreciate the time I had. Meanwhile, you're just not present.
Yeah, exactly. And so I don't know. We'll see about videos, but it's like it's the editing too.
Yeah.
I won't lie.
So my recommendation, I know you're taking a couple years break from Disneyland. And I know you got a pass, and so it wasn't crazy expensive to go every single time. But my recommendation is go on a European trip. You and Marianne, one time, whether it's England, whether it's Denmark or Amsterdam or wherever, go to Europe. You can find cheap flights, and you'll spend about as much on a European trip as you would Disneyland. Just to kind of compare for yourself.
Oh,
Okay, what memories do we want? Do we need Disneyland memories? Do we need beach memories?
Yep.
Or do we need like European castles and all that kind of stuff? Because it kind of changed my life a little bit to stop going to Disneyland as much and then start investing in new experiences.
Well, exactly. And that's kind of where I'm at. And that's kind of what we've been talking about. When I went to Greece about 7, 8 years ago ish.
Yeah, it's been a while, right?
It's been a while. Like that changed like how I like to vacation, right? Disneyland's been great. I mean, really, I've only had a season pass for the past 3-4 years.
Okay.
And it really started as a quote unquote investment. Whatever.
Yeah.
And so like I went into it more of I'm going to do this as a job type of thing. And I don't know, maybe it would be different if I was making money off of that, know?
Yeah.
As part of the vacation, I'm like, there's so much more out there, right?
Yeah.
And especially with Marianne, really the only places that she's gone or vacationed at has been Disneyland, Bear Lake.
Oh.
And she's been to Hawaii 3
Okay.
times. So I've told her like she's never been fishing. She's never been to Yellowstone. She's never been to the national parks. And I'm like, okay, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Like we're going to focus on doing those things that I like, especially that I did as a kid that you never have done. So let's go fishing. Let's go to Yellowstone. Let's go to Zion's. Let's go to Moab. And there's places that I haven't been either, right?
Yeah.
I haven't been to Moab. I mean, I call myself a corridor Utah, right? I-15 is basically it. And I tell this story to quite a few people because I'm such a horrible corridor Utah that when I moved out here to South Jordan, I had no idea that there were open spaces still. Like no joke. No joke. I thought that houses just went like from the freeway all the way to the Ochre Mountains.
Yeah.
And so the first week when we got married and I moved out here and I'm, venturing out and exploring, I see this vastness of fields. I'm like, what the heck? And then I see an antelope. An antelope. I had no idea that we had antelope in the Salt Lake County. So I'm like, I need to venture out more.
Yeah, a little bit. Okay, I think it's time.
So anyway, I'm excited for this next chapter because it's time for something to branch out.
Yeah, but it does sound like you guys had a special Final for Now trip.
It was. It was because so we only did one day at Disneyland and we stayed until close. Like they pretty much kicked us out. And we did that on purpose, because we wanted to get every ounce of it. And I won't lie, we both got emotional about it.
I imagine.
It felt like, it was like we were saying goodbye. And at the same time, I don't know. I think for me, it was everything special that happened in that park, right? The memories, it was so hard for me to not look at those places that meant something to me.
Yeah.
Of memories associated with my parents, with grandparents who have passed, with my Aunt Mary who would take us to Disneyland all the time as a kid. It was hard not to see those moments kind of play out during that day.
Mm-hmm.
But then Coke Corner,
Yeah.
right, where Marianne and I met.
Right.
That that's not just a special place, for us. It's a very sacred place for us.
Yes,
and
it
so
is. Yeah.
It was those things that I'm like, okay, like, yes, I'm gonna miss these places. But I have those memories, right?
Yeah.
And
it's not like it's not as if that's the final time you're gonna go.
Right. I mean, unless Jesus comes, after the elections, then, who knows, right?
Who knows?
But
Well, that's awesome. Well, I'm glad you're back,
yeah.
and I'm excited to hear about the next travel plans. So,
yeah, we, I don't know, might be Vernal.
the wide open spaces of Vernal.
And you choose Vernal.
Right.
But
all right, so we're going to jump into some phone calls real quick.
Hey guys, Brandon here. Haven't talked to you guys in a while. Hope all is well. Hey, this question is more for Spencer and Josh. Hey, have you ever seen Kenny and JD Vance in the same room together? I just wondered because I'm pretty sure they're the same person. If you don't believe me, go out and just listen to the Joe Rogan podcast with JD Vance on it, especially like right at the 2-hour mark. I think you might agree with me. I really need to know before I vote this week, so let me know. Hey, good to see you guys. Bye.
Does it have anything to do with the fact that JD Vance is totally wearing mascara during this interview?
Oh, because I wear mascara too?
Or
maybe I wear mascara to hide the fact that I'm Kent Dunn and sometimes JD Vance. Listen, I did shave my face so that you could tell us apart. So we're good there.
You could have been a stunt double for JD Vance.
I've never seen the likeness. Are we saying that's a thing? So half the country probably hates me then.
I see.
The other half is like, hey, he's a pretty chill guy.
If you dyed your hair black or brown-ish. Yeah, you could totally pass for that.
He kind of has more of like a kind of a baby face. Like a doughy baby face a little bit.
I don't know. I keep looking because I pulled up the video and I keep looking back and forth at you.
Yeah, I'm staring at you now. Look at the bridge of my nose.
Yeah.
Nice
cleavage there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I'm wearing mascara. Spencer, we're gonna need your input. Listen, this is concerning. Maybe there is a likeness there. Is it everything? Is it voice? Is it face? What is it?
I think, face, especially that mascara, man. Especially that mascara.
It's the mascara.
Okay, I think we have one more phone call. Let's check that one out.
Hey guys, I just have to say I enjoyed your scary story episode so much. It was amazing. The award for best storytelling voice goes to Kent. Good job. Good job, Spencer, I noticed your little slip in saying breast instead of breakfast. You corrected that real quick. And leave it to Josh to find a story about Muppets, a scary story. That was amazing. I had to pace myself because I just wanted to listen all at once, but I also didn't want it to end too quick. So that was awesome. I hope you guys continue to do that. Thanks. Thanks for all the entertainment. Have a good day.
Oh, best spooky voice and best sultry voice. I'm just trying to be versatile and kind of mix it up a little bit. I
actually really enjoyed listening to your stories.
No, here's what's funny is sometimes like I don't want to be like a weirdo and like, oh, I'm just recording in here and I don't want to be loud, so I'm like, I'll kind of be quiet, and then it sounds purposely scary. Like it wasn't on purpose. I'll just say that.
Don't pull back that curtain, man.
Okay, fine. But yeah, I really enjoyed the 10 Nights of Frights. Like, it's going to be a tradition from now on.
It has to be, because I had a lot of fun with the stories this last go around.
Yeah.
And even the last one was a lot of fun because I just had a couple of people give me some prompts.
Yeah.
And I totally had AI give me the script.
Yep.
And it's a fun one. It's a if you know, you know kind of story.
Right.
So,
which are our favorite.
Yes. And just as a reminder with those, we will release all of those on our regular show next year.
Oh, so you have to wait a whole year?
You can join our Patreon.
Right.
So patreon.com/the other show. So you'll get not only all of those, you'll get all of last year's, you'll get all the bonus episodes, you'll get the weekly other shows. We do quite a bit, actually. So,
yeah.
And it's a lot of fun. It's a fun little community, and kind of just that's what we're about, I guess.
It's kind of our thing.
Yeah.
All right, with all that said, Josh, how about you take us out?
Absolutely. You've just listened to The Other Show, starring Kent Dunn, Josh Hansen, and Spencer Myers. The Other Show is produced by Kent Dunn, Josh Hansen, and Spencer Myers. Show design and audio editing is done by me, Josh Hansen, and sales manager is Spencer Myers. The Other Show is generously supported by our friends on Patreon. A huge thank you to our Friends with Benefits tier. These friends are contributing a minimum of $25 a month, which in return comes with some rather significant benefits, including the weekly off-the-cuff episodes of The Other Show, monthly bonus episodes, quarterly live Q&A shows, and exclusive swag and perks. A huge thank you to our favorite Brit, Jonathan Vaskar, the lovely and talented Mrs. Robinson, the one, the only Chris Anderson, Brandon from Popfly Cards, Lady Terry A. Finley, the proud Disney mom, Tanya Budge, the other Keith Brown, It's Rick, not Dick Smith, Dave, and of course, our newest friend with benefits, Melanie Milring. To support The Other Show on Patreon, visit patreon.com/The Other Show to join. Please rate, review, and subscribe to The Other Show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, or wherever podcasts are found. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and X. To better connect with us and other fans of The Other Show, join our Facebook group, The Other Group. For past episodes, links to our other shows, and to shop for show swag, visit our website at theother.show. And remember, when you're not listening to me here on The Other Show, you can hear me on my other show, The Party in the Back.
You can hear me on my other show, Bacon Cell.